Arganissima, New York. Your exotic skin, hair, and beauty source, and your one-stop shop for all your natural and organic skin and hair care, featuring authentic organic Moroccan oil and prickly pear seed oil and much more. Bringing you only the best, straight from the source and proudly produced in the USA. So what are you waiting for? Shop today, Arganissima, New York. Your beauty is our duty.
What's up, party people? This is Kwame, and you are rocking with Chatters That Matter right here. Keep it locked. All right, peace.
This is Rick Aaron, and you're watching Chatters That Matter with Dr. Cheryl Bryant Bruce and Hurricane. Keep it locked.
Hey, hey, hey. It's Cheryl Bryant Bruce, MD. You know me, the celebrity doc. And I am here with my show host, my co-host, Hisham Elamati, Hurricane H. You are here with us on Chatters That Matter. Let's talk about it. Our show is here to educate, inform, and entertain you. And again, we have our little co-host here. This is Rosie, and we have Miss Mitzi, who isn't feeling real well today, but they will be joining us in the show as they always do. So if you hear the little doggies barking, it's all right. They belong to me.
The crew.
So they are the crew. They're the rooting squad and all of that. And we actually have a guest doggy even with us today as well. So it's a dog's world.
Rusty.
What's
hey,
up,
Rusty? Hey, Rusty. So this is the 50th anniversary. We're celebrating the 50th anniversary of hip hop, and we have a full house tonight joining us for this celebration. We also have a very special guest tonight that's here, and we'll be bringing him on in short order. I'm really proud of this guy. I love him very much. And he is actually coming to us from South Africa.
Oh, no. This is the podcast he's going to be on.
Okay. So we just had somebody pop in to join us. All right. Welcome, welcome.
Hi.
So, folks, as you're coming in, hit the like buttons, hit the share buttons, tell your friends so that they can come in and listen to us, join us, and participate in the fun. In the meanwhile, because we have such a large collection of people, we are kind of going to go round robin, and I'm actually going to let you all introduce yourselves this time. So I am going to start with Joseph, A New Day Bryant.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Joseph A New Day Bryant. I'm a writer, producer, entrepreneur. I'm the CEO of Free World Development, a technology logistics company out in West Africa and Sierra Leone, and the founder for SaloneUnited.org.
And Joseph's feed may be breaking up a little bit, and we may not have him with us long because he is actually coming to us from Africa. So glad to have you with us, Joseph. Let's jump over to Jezus Rose.
Jesus.
What's going on? How y'all doing? I'm Jezus Rose. It's a pleasure to meet y'all.
Glad to have you with us, Jesus. And with a name like Jesus, you know, it's got to be fabulous. So next up on the block is Brandon. Wait, Brandon. Aren't you Austin?
Yeah, Brandon's on.
Okay.
Is my name.
We have you as Brandon on the screen. Aussyy.
Yeah, I'm Aussyy. Well, I'm a 21-year-old. I'm at 22. I just turned 22. My bad. I'm an actor, model, rapper, social media influencer, and also I talk about my story with mental health and all that. So, mental health person.
Perfect. And then we have Andre, one of my favorite names. Andre, tell us all about yourself.
Yeah, I'm Andre Bo Langley, known as Boxonics. I'm a producer, hip hop producer.
Excellent. And on the 50th anniversary of hip hop, what better than to have a hip hop producer? Then we're going to make a quick jump over. I know you're not planning on being on, but Gary, if you can just give us a little shout out here.
I'm a syndicator. I do a lot of hip hop radio shows. I've done Ricky Smiley. I do the Baker Boys, who are one of the originators in hip hop. I'm also a talent manager. I do television as well. Austin, who's very modest, we're doing a big project called the Arc 12 Project. And he talks about mental health in addition to writing and singing songs on mental health. And we did something in Washington D.C. at WHUR, WTV, was phenomenal. And I think he's saving a lot of lives, and I'm really proud of what he's doing. And obviously, I think with 50 years of hip hop, it's always, when we talk about giving back, we need artists like him coming now that are giving back and saving lives. So I'm proud of what he's doing.
We're really glad to have him with us, and glad to have you with us as well.
Thank you.
Greedy.
Yes.
Greedy.
Hello.
Hey.
Sorry, I'm late. Got a late notice.
That's okay. Tell us all about yourself. Keep it short because we're going to come back, but give us a quick intro.
My name is Geedy Greg. I'm producer, manager, music business. I go way back to 30 years ago. Tone Loc, DJ Quick, Second to None, Moke and Steph. I did a lot of rap records from the West Coast.
Excellent.
That's the short.
Domino. Go ahead, Greedy. Come on, Greedy.
Oh,
Domino.
We got to drill down. Don't worry.
We're going to come back to it, Ricky. We're coming back. And we have over here popping on near and dear to me, Davonte and Joseph Bryant.
What's going on, guys?
What's up?
Hey.
My name is Davonte. Yeah, this my auntie right here.
Easy. What's up, bros?
What up, bro? It's my brother right here, Joe. My auntie. I got my sister.
What up?
It's a family affair. It's a family affair.
Currently at work right now, but I still have time to hop in. Music really big to me in my family's life. One thing for me personally, like authenticity for me is the biggest thing in my life all around. So that putting into music, how a lot of rappers, they like to just rap just to look cool or just to like a persona, but my persona is my real life. So like that's just how much it means to me. You know what I mean?
Well, we're glad to have you, hon. So, you jump in and out as you can. We know you're working, trying to earn a living, and we appreciate that. So, Marisa, give everybody a shout out. We know you're not trying to be interviewed, but give everybody a shout out.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Auntie. Marisa, I'm a model, writer, and co-founder of Healing Hearts Through Art. So we do a bunch of mental health work with young women and kids, and I'm based in New York.
True.
Hey. Okay.
Right.
Now
Grand Master Dee.
Grand Master Dee.
Yes, how y'all doing?
All right.
Name is Grand Master Dee from the legendary rap group Houdini.
Houdini in the house.
Good old stuff. Love
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes.
Excellent. And then we have, I'm kind of looking up around under my camera. I see Gregory.
Gregory? That's Greedy?
Greedy?
Oh,
yeah.
Is that
Gregory Brown?
Oh, okay. Gregory's Greedy. You guys are throwing me off with these names now. Come on. And I don't have her up on the screen in front of me, but I know Alise is out there. So Alise, why don't you tell us who you are real quick?
I'm Alise Levine. I live out in the Bay Area, California, but I spent a lot of time in Los Angeles. Originally from New York. I manage an R&B group and a singer, and I'm newly going to start working with Grand Master Dee. And I'm also a social media blogger, influencer on music and comedy So my live footage every week, I'm at a show 2 or 3 times a week, blogging about music and everything live. So
excellent, perfect.
All
And
of
then
that.
there's all right. Then there's an iPhone user. So I'm not sure if this is someone I've introduced already or not, because it just says iPhone. So iPhone, whoever you are, come on in.
It may be me. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I can hear you.
Thank you
Okay.
so much for the introduction. My name is Mark Theory. I'm a serial entrepreneur and a manufacturer of products, as well as a philanthropist is what I'm really known for the most. But
Yes.
I'm here in support of Austin and Gary with the great work that Austin is doing for us with the R12 project, as well as his amazing talent and skills. He's become the face of young mental health. My son, Noah Theory, is the co-creator of the project, and he's a good friend of Austin. So I'm here tonight to listen and support him.
Well, we're glad to have you. Thanks for joining us. Thank you for joining us. And then last but not least, we have the great Ricky Aaron.
So I'm Ricky Aaron. I'm a producer, A&R. Every time my phone rings, it's something else. So I do a lot of things, and I'm glad to be here.
And when you call his phone always tells you that it's lost somewhere in the house. And his email box, his text box or his voicemail box, all of it is always full. So this is one of the busiest guys in the industry. Thank you for being with us, Ricky. And thank you for helping to bring all of these folks together. We've got a great selection going on tonight, and this is going to be a great show. So let's go ahead and we're going to get started with Joseph Anude Bryant, and he's going to tell us about his projects because I don't know how long we'll be able to keep him with us. So you're on, Joe. Tell us all about it.
Thank you. Thank you, Aussie. First and foremost, since it is the 50th anniversary of hip hop, love, honor, and respect to Grand Master Dee. Thank you for your contribution to hip hop.
Yes.
You know, I think that we have to give you that respect, and I want to start off anything that I said with that. Thank you for your contribution.
Thank you, my brother. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I am currently living in West Africa, Sierra Leone. I grew up in music, in hip hop. My father was a hip hop artist. I spent some time as a hip hop artist as well. Did some producing. I still do some producing now, mostly focused on Afro beats. I've done some stuff for Chino, for Dallas Banton, some of these bigger West African artists that are here in Sierra Leone. But about 10 years ago, I made a lateral move and started doing more work in the technology field. I started a marketing company called Comp Marketing. We're very innovative in our space. Then recently I got a really good opportunity working with New York Times, traveled the world for a couple of years, and I found myself in West Africa, came to Sierra Leone, fell in love with the people, fell in love with the food, fell in love with the music, and I decided to stick around. Sierra Leone right now is currently ranked as the second poorest country in the world right now. So obviously there's a lot of problems. You know, we have rolling blackouts. They don't have 24 hours of lights. There's a lot of starving people. But at the same time, it's one of the most beautiful places I've ever seen in the world. So I fell in love with it and decided to take the knowledge that I have and the skills that I had and started a company called Free World Development. Our focus is basically taking, you know, our experience, knowledge with technology, working with the companies here and the government here to help them modernize the infrastructure. Right now, our main program is working at a site called Kingdom. So Kingdom is probably the poorest neighborhood on the planet. It's actually a landfill, but inside the landfill, there's actually residents of about 3,000 people, women, children, men. And they're in absolutely devastating environment. Most of the trash that's here, they don't have any real waste management program, so they burn the trash. This is releasing just tons of methane into the air. These children, you know, the women that are pregnant, they're constantly breathing this in. They're living in these makeshift shacks currently. And so we decided that we were going to take over the landfill, lease it directly from the government. And we're working on building them some new homes. We're going to be building a government public-private homes for them. And then we're going to be building out a recycling center that's going to be able to process about 750 tons of recycled material a day, so that we can help clean up the country. That's going to solve a lot of major problems here. One of the major problems is mass illness. They're still battling malaria. That's responsible for up to 20-30% of the deaths that are happening within the nation. So, once we get the actual waste under control, we'll be able to reduce the mosquito population and the rodent population about 85%, which is going to help with the healthcare industry and, bring some innovations, bring some more investment into the country, and hopefully build it back better.
Excellent. Beautiful. So you talked about building this housing project. You said that you all were going to take over the landfill. Will the housing project remain on the landfill, or are you just recycling the landfill and reclaiming it?
So so we'll basically be leasing that plot of land, which it's amazing because it's right on the ocean. It's got beautiful views. It's pretty central to the city. So we're going to actually close the landfill. We're going to fill it in. We're going to bring in some trees and make it green. And then on one side of it, we'll build the housing, which will be a 1,000-unit apartment complex. It'll have a playgrounds. It'll have, solar benches. It'll have a small soccer field, and it'll give them a really nice place for them to live, for very cheap. Because most of these people, the amazing thing is these are all, and this was incredible as I met these people, as I was going through the different shacks and meeting them and spending time with the children. They're all entrepreneurs. These people, have built shack businesses, and they have complete mindsets of innovation and entrepreneurship. So we're going to help them expand upon that, give them training programs and access to other programs that help them to build upon that so that they can live better lives. And then on the other side of the landfill, once we fill it in, we'll actually build the recycling center. So some of them will be able to provide a few hundred jobs, from picking up the trash from around the neighborhoods, driving the big trash trucks, working inside of the actual recycling center, helping us sort some of those materials out, and then being able to transfer some of the rest of the material that can't be recycled over to the waste to energy facility once it's built.
Right. Excellent. So how can we help you with that project? What do you need?
Really, it's funding. I mean, that's all it really is. What the government lacks here is cash. Right now, the big problem right now is they're not doing any manufacturing or production. So they're not exporting anything. And the majority of most economies are built off the ability to export. It's right. But the thing is, we have the money to send it to another country and control their exports, right? And that's what we've done with China, which has obviously led to its own issues in itself, right? But right now, I think our focus in Africa is making Africa independent. Right now, it's been dependent on nations that haven't always had the best ideas for it. And so right now, the way the world politically works in general is most of the raw resources are coming from Africa, but none of the money is coming here. So we'll provide them a way to take the raw resources and take some of the resources from the material being imported here, turn that into additional capital, and be able to export manufactured and produce projects directly from Sierra Leone. And our plan is to hopefully expand across West Africa from there.
Okay. All right. That sounds really good. You can give us the information for contacting you. If you can drop it into the chat, and we will be posting to the website the contact information for all of our guests and promoting each one of our guests. And we encourage you each to promote and support each other as well. So if you can just throw your information into the chat there, Joe, and we'll be
sure. I'll throw it in there. And for the listeners that are out there, anybody who wants to donate, you can go to SaloneUnited.org. Salone is just short for Sierra Leone. It's SALONE. So it's SaloneUnited.org. If you're interested in helping with the broader project for our company at the landfill, it's freeworlddevelopment.com. My Instagram is Joseph Anude Bryant. Anude is ANUDA. My Facebook is Joseph Anude. Actually, no, my Facebook is Joseph Anude Bryant. My Instagram is Anude the Great. So it's Anude the Great, not Doug Great. So it is THE. People always ask that. So you can hit me up on there. And, any questions that you have, I can definitely answer. And if I'm not available, a member of my team can definitely answer that as well. But any help that anybody can give us, we really appreciate it. We have a lot of hard work to do. And my primary goal since I've been in Africa is rebuilding the relationship for the diaspora, for the Black Americans, Black Europeans, and the Africans. I think that we've come to a time now where I don't think it's been beneficial for Black America to continue to invest in white-owned neighborhoods. I think that for us to be able to get to the economic position that we want to be in, we have to understand where the resources are. And we have to understand that we've had the opportunity to gain knowledge and get information that the people in Africa have not been able to get, our brothers and sisters in Africa. And I think that what we need to do is take that information, that knowledge, and collaborate with our brothers and sisters in Africa who have access to the resources, and start building some of our own economic policies, some of our own economic strategies. And that's my primary focus. So anybody who's really interested in getting involved with that, let's get to work.
Okay, there we have it.
That sounds good. We need to get together and put some concerts together and
yeah,
and raise money,
I'm all
raise
for that.
funding, and help that come about.
Grand Master Dee, let's
I'm
do
all
that.
for that. I'm all for that. Absolutely. It'd be a pleasure.
Right. Now, sticking in kind of the same theme of helping others to help themselves, and I think he just bounced off because he's up under my my light. So Aussyy, we're bringing you on next. Tell us your story and how you got to where you've gotten, because you have a very powerful story and it's helping a lot of people. So tell us all about that, because at 21 years old, you've been through some things.
Yes. Well, now I'm 22. I like to correct that, but I grew up from yeah, I had a trauma life. I grew up in a household where my father wasn't really there. My father was really abusive. So as a kid, all I seen really was, my parents arguing back and forth. So as a kid, I went out and sought attention, you know what I mean? Trying to go out in public and trying to get the attention that I wished my family would give me, because at the time we were not really the priority. So then later it went on, my father left. My mom met a new dude. She was stabbed 35 times. Whoa. So there goes another trauma part in my head to where I feel like life was tearing me down. So then moved on, carried on through high school. It kind of hit because I kind of carried all my problems with me, and I never really knew how I can spread my feelings. And then there came a time in 2021, I tried to commit suicide. I felt like I didn't belong here. I felt like I was a burden to be here. I just, you know how it feels when you get to the lowest point and you try to kill yourself. You know what I mean? People have probably been out there, but they were like, ugh, I can't do it. Something about it, like, stops them from actually doing it. But my mind was so messed up, I actually took almost a whole bottle of Zoloft, almost died. I was in an induced coma for a couple of days, almost 3 days. When I woke up out of my coma, the doctors looked at me and said, thank God you weren't supposed to make it, So I woke up out of my coma. I realized that God is obviously on my side. I met Gary. Shout out to Gary. I met Mark, two wonderful people. Mark reached out to me. He saw my TikTok that got over almost 400,000 views because I like to share my story, and I hope others would take an influence of it because other people need to hear it. I work with an award-winning group called ARC 12. ARC 12 is our group where we go around the HBCU campuses and talk about mental health. And I actually make songs about mental health. I just made a song called Late at Night, really good song, where I talk about my emotions and my feelings and me overcoming my battles, because I feel like people need an influencer out there. And I wish to be that influence to other people, because when people see me, they see a happy guy, they see bright teeth, they see a guy who has no problems from the external, but in the internal, that's where all the problems were. I'm a model, I'm an actor. I made 2 movies already, Perk 30 and Everybody Hates Christmas. I got another movie on the way.
Nice.
But yeah, that's a little about myself.
You are amazing, Austin. You're amazing. He's right. I saw him on TikTok. I didn't even know what TikTok was. And I find on TikTok, on life support, basically looked like he, and I reached out to him and I was stunned. I didn't know what all that meant, but I just knew I had to reach out to this young man. And then once I did, and he started talking to me and let me hear his music and his, obviously you can tell, he's got the style and the look, but once I heard his story, his music, he's a writer. I mean, he just blew my mind. So I reached out to Gary and we said, hey, we got to do something. This is the right age, the right guy. Again, I say my son, has dealt with mental health issues too. He's a senior at Howard. And man, we just took off with Austin as our brand face. And all of you guys, when you talk about doing these concerts, listen to these young men, Austin and the other young man, I'm sure, who's authentic as well. Man, you got your concert, guys, for Africa.
There you go. There you go.
Thank you.
So let me ask you a question, Aussyy.
Yes, ma'am.
Was there a point when you were considering suicide that someone could have reached in? Were you looking for someone to reach in and pull you out? Or were you just so broken and in so much pain that there was nothing that anybody could have done at that point in time?
Yes, that's a great question. I tried to look for help. I actually posted on a bunch of times on my Snapchat that I was feeling, I didn't want to be here. I actually saw a therapist. I cried to the therapist's face, and the therapist literally, I told him that I didn't want to be here. And he gave me a pill. He gave me bottles and said, here, you'll feel okay. That's how the mental health industry works now. And that's what I want to change. That's what me and my crew want to change.
Right.
And because, yes, I felt to the point there was nobody I could talk to. Nobody. My mind was done. I gave up.
Understood.
My brother, God spared you.
Yes, he
and
did.
Now you're here to do the work.
Yep.
You're going to be one of God's messengers. You're here for reasons.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And we're blessed to have you with us. And we know that you will be a blessing to many, many young people and older people alike, because, suicide and suicidal ideation, it has no age. It doesn't target any one age, the old, the young, children, seniors, people consider it. And I think that if everyone was just completely honest, I think that there are very few people on the planet that haven't had some point where they bumped into a wall and just said, maybe the world would be better off without me.
Right.
Maybe I just don't want to do this anymore. And, a lot of people are fortunate enough to have someone that, tapped on their shoulder, or, maybe just had God tap on their shoulder if there was no one around to say, look, we need you. You're important. And for, everyone out there, you are important. It doesn't matter who you are or what you're doing. You are important, and something you do will make a tremendous difference to one person. You may be the difference between life and death for one person. And a smile, a genuine smile goes a long way. When you see people on the street, give them a bona fide, genuine smile, give them a nod, make eye contact, even if only briefly. Give them respect. If someone had seen Aussyy as he was reaching out, as he was crying out in pain, then he might not have spent that time in that coma. But God is good, and Aussyy's still with us, and he came back with the download and a message to take to the streets to make a difference for others. So Aussyy, we applaud you for what you're doing.
Thank you.
Now, tell us, if people want to reach out to you to support your efforts, how can they do that?
Yeah, you can reach out to me on AUSSSYYY, Aussyy, my name, on Instagram, or you can go to our website called Art12. That's our Instagram link. I'll put it in the bottom in the chat so everybody can see it as well.
Okay.
But yeah, and one thing I would like to say is thank you for having me on. This means a lot to me. Thanks to Gary and Mark, of course. I just want to change lives. That's my message, and that's my message from God. If you choose me, you come with a brand. I am a brand. I come with the acting. I come with the Art12. I come with my music. I come with the modeling, and I come with the mental health spokesperson. You know what I'm saying? So it's the package deal. Thank you for having me. God bless you.
I'm glad to have you.
Great.
Hey,
We look forward to big things.
And his music is great.
Move on from him.
Thank you.
I'm sure before we move on from him, I want to say, Aussyy, I just want to tell you, I'm very proud of you. I want to thank you for sharing your story. I want to thank you for your bravery. Keep going, keep being strong. I can tell you personally, me and my brother and sister, we've had our own struggle with mental health, and we know how it is. Make sure you get in contact with me, because this is a message that really needs to be spread here in Africa. The trauma that is been experienced here is beyond imagination. And so any opportunity that we could have to have you spread your music here, talk to some of the people here, I think it would be.
The struggle is real. The struggle is real, folks.
So Doctor, I just wanted to add something. I'm listening, and Aussyy, thank you for the work you do, and certainly for sharing that. But for our audiences that are watching, you mentioned something very powerful, that you actually went on Snapchat and kind of claimed it and stated it, but the reaction was not there. And I think the message for people, if you see something like that, or you notice somebody is asking, don't just ignore, because what happened is the next thing. He is, in a coma. Not a cool thing, if you actually are exchanging, snaps or contact, whatever it is, you want to make sure that we are friends for a reason, even if it's social media. But if you're there, let's make sure that we do the right thing and help other people, help each other, and do the right thing. Because in this case, that wasn't the case. Aussyy had to deal with it on his own, and so that is not, what we'd like to see and hear. But the good news is that you're better now. You're doing terrific, and by the way, great stuff that you're doing there. Love the work. And but really the message for our audience is that we can all help each other if we are paying attention, and let's do that. Let's just pay attention to details. It's not always a joke, or it's not like it's nothing. If somebody is claiming something, it is happening. So pay attention to that.
Oftentimes it is a joke, and inside of every joke, particularly if it's been repeated more than once, inside of every joke is a thread of truth. So when you hear it, think about it and tap in with that person and say, hey, are you all right? I mean, if they're laughing and giggling about it on TikTok or Snapchat or whatever, that might not be the time, but, hit them up in their DM, or if you've got a phone number after you get off, hey, you said a couple of things that have me worried about you. Can we talk about it? Mm-hmm. And you might lead in with, hey, I've been having some struggles of my own, and I thought that you might be in a similar place, because that allows them the grace and allows them to be able to step out of themselves and be vulnerable when they might otherwise not. They might otherwise put on the happy face and say, I'm good. And that so often happens. I'm good. You hear it every day. Folks, they OD because for the most part, ODing is a passive way of taking oneself out. So, they OD'd or they blew their brains out, whatever it was, however they took themselves out of the game. You hear people say, but everything was rosy. They were at the top of their game. Everything looked good from the outside. But if you stop and think about it, the signs are almost always there if you just pay attention.
And, I just wanted to add one more, Doc. Aussyy, your story can resonate a lot with people listening and watching right now around the world. There are people going through maybe what you've gone through in your youth and as you were, growing up. And here's the great news is that look at you today. Despite all the difficulties and stuff, you are a success and you're going to continue, and we're going to observe your success over the years, and we'll be proud to have you today and talk about it, in the next few years to come. But for many people, that's hope that they need to see, because really, you never give up, and you shouldn't have to go through this, but at least know that there is beautiful places that you can go to. And I think that's a message that people that are watching and listening, if you're going through tough times, know that you don't have to take the way out, which is basically taking you out of the equation. Know that there is a potential of you becoming something different, something bigger than what you thought you were. And so again, that's just another message, because I think that's a powerful thing that people have to relate to if they're watching and listening right now, or spread the message, because it's important.
Yeah, and one thing also on the mental health side is I forgot what I was gonna say.
That's all right.
Hold that thought, and when you catch it again, you bring it on back in.
Sorry, I lost
it happens.
Okay, let us go ahead and move on. And when you catch that thought again, wave the flag and let us know, because we do want to hear it. All righty.
I wish we could play records on here. Like he's got a very interesting record. I mean, I don't have time to experiment right now, but it'd be great if we could get, especially his record tells a lot about his life and what the struggle and what he went through. And it would be cool to be able to hear it. Yeah.
Which does bring me to another question. I do have another question for you. And that question, I'm throwing that out to all of you who are here in the industry and making the music, making the raps, making the hip hop lyrics. What role did the music play in your mental salvation? That's for you, Aussyy.
Oh, I'm sorry. What was the question?
The question was, what role did the music play in your mental salvation?
What role did the music play in my mental salvation? Was I literally told the message behind it. I said, devil almost had me, but he wasn't that clever. Glad I'm still here and I made it through the weather. Devil almost had me, but he wasn't that clever. Devil, you know what I'm saying? So it's one of the most powerful songs that I wrote right after my suicide attempt. And so it's like a hidden message from above, if that makes sense.
Right.
One of those songs.
You got your download.
Yeah.
So good for you.
Were there any songs that are out currently that you gravitated towards that help calm you down and make you feel better? Like,
yes, and that would be Late at Night.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. All righty then.
Right.
Now, Aussyy, did in terms of, I think the question was more like, was the music a therapy for you in terms of helping you,
yes,
get out of the thing? Like, was your spirit when you went and did the music, made the music, did that help you out of a low place? Your passion for music?
Yes, it did. Yes, it did. When I wrote I usually journal my lyrics. So when I journaled, I was basically writing my emotions on how I felt at the moment, and it just all came out, and I let go of things that were trauma built in me. And I removed that blockage, and I like to release it to other people because they can relate to it. They will be able to relate to it through the vibration of, what I'm saying. So
Excellent.
Ricky, I'm gonna try to play the song if it goes through. Let's see if it goes through.
Hey.
Can we hear it?
No, just you can hear it.
I thought it would go through. It didn't go through. I try to get it from a different feed, but sorry about that. False alarm. Actually, I'm gonna try to make it. Just keep going. I'll see what I can do to bring it up.
All right, work it on out for us, Hurricane. Work it on out.
I'm working it out.
Yeah, I wanted to introduce my business partner. She's hopped on the call as well.
Perfect. I can't see her, but when she speaks, it'll come through.
Oh, hi, everyone.
Hey. Hi, Mandy. Glad to have you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. And thank you so much, Marisa, for just having me hop on. I love already what I'm hearing, and it sounds like you guys have an amazing platform right already. I can introduce myself if you guys are ready to.
Talk about what you're doing out in Wisconsin and at the shelter. And then I did mention we do Healing Hearts Through Art, working with mental health with the young women and kids.
Yes. Thanks, Marisa. So I currently am a domestic violence advocate. So I supervise a domestic violence shelter. I actually just got done training the police department. So I'm big on, I'm big on educating communities and just helping people. I actually experienced domestic violence at a very young age, just the age of 5, and kind of just grew up. Went to University of Las Vegas and got my degree in marriage and family therapy, sociology. And so I just, I asked God, I know I want to help people. I don't know what to do. So he led me into this work, and I've been doing it for 5 years. And then Marisa and I got together. We've been best friends since high school, and we just wanted to help make a difference in the world through art and just healing other people as well. So definitely just glad to be here today, and would love to learn more about what you all guys do too as well.
Well, thank you for joining us, and be sure to share with friends. Marisa, thank you for sharing. So that's how we build, that's how we grow, and that's how we will help each other to accomplish these dreams and to accomplish our purposes. So thank you, Sissy, for bringing her to join us.
To our website.
Thank you.
So can you type your website into the chat box there?
Yes.
Okay. Perfect. So I am going to go ahead and we're going to jump over to Andre Bolangley.
Yes. Yeah. So, in life, I suffered from kidney disease, and in November 2021, I received a kidney from a living donor. I just this like days before, and so luckily I was so blessed to receive the kidney. So, and what I do, anybody that's suffering from kidney disease, I always try to help them. I always I help people, and I give them advice. And that's what I do now. And, I'm so blessed and so lucky. So I give back like in that way.
And that's actually huge, because kidney disease is one of the fastest growing disorders. And, if you don't think so, look at all the DaVitas that are popping up all around the country, the diabetes centers popping up all around the country. And they are predominantly loaded with our people of color. So this is a big issue for the communities of the people of color, whether it's African Americans or Latinos. It's rampant now. And, part of it is diet and all of the things that we're doing to our bodies that are giving people diabetes and such. And then for some people, it is actually hereditary. And it's one of those things where the organs, there aren't enough organs to go around. And part of the thing is that within the African American community, we are not quick to donate our organs for a lot of reasons, but there are a lot of us that need them, and gratefully someone gave that gift so that Andre can be here with us. Tell us.
What are some of the? I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
What are some of the reasons that people, the people that don't want to donate their organs? Like, what are the reasons that people are? I can't even think of the word. Why don't people want to donate their organs? I'm sorry. Oh my God.
Well, some of it is actually ignorance. People always say, I want all of my parts with me when I go so that God doesn't have to look for me. So all of my parts will be together. And there's this misconception that and if you're cremated, yeah, everything's getting thrown into the kiln. But if you're buried, all of your parts are not going with you because they're removed before you get into that box. So you're not taking them with you anyway, and you can give life to somebody else by donating your organs. Now, another big thing that people are concerned about, and that one's one of those ones where you kind of have to say, because of all the things that have happened in our communities, the Tuskegee experiment, the Gila thing. I mean, so much has happened in our communities where stuff is done to us. So much of science has been built off of our backs through experimentation. So people are afraid to put down on the back of that license that, yes, I will donate my kidney or my heart or whatever, for fear that not as great of an effort will be made to save them if there is an incident. I have a car crash on the freeway and I'm struggling for life. Well, somebody needs an organ, and there's a big black market for the organs even. But somebody needs an organ, and maybe they won't make as big of an effort to save me if I say that I'm donating my organs. And then, that's an understandable fear, actually.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, it does make sense. Yeah. And so kind of my answer to that, for people who really are afraid that way, don't put it on your license. Put it on a piece of paper, a living will, give it to a close family member, and give it to your personal doctor. And then if something does happen to you, they can say, look, this is what he or she would have wanted. So let's give somebody else life.
I do that. I'm a donor now. I used to ignore that before. And I'm a donor. So whatever they need, whatever I have, when I pass away, they can have whatever they need.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm blessed.
Absolutely.
So hip hop is getting older, 57, and hip hop is getting older, and a lot of all the artists that we admire in life, they need benefits, and a lot of them don't go to the doctor. And I always tell my brothers, my African American brothers, we have to go to the doctor. And I always went to the doctor. Yes.
Please do.
And I found that years ago, but it just decreased, and we went to the end. And so I was saved. We got to go to the doctor.
You have to go. I mean, it's a pet peeve for me. I'm a doctor. I want to help people, and it's particularly a pet peeve for me because I'm a wellness manager, and I believe in instructing people on how to change their lifestyles so that they can have the best quality of life for the longest period of time. I cannot give you any more longevity than God already has planned for you. But what I can give you is a better quality of life if you're willing to work with me. It really gets my goat when people abuse themselves, break themselves up, destroy this beautiful house that God gave us to live in, And then they come to me and they're like, quick, give me a pill, fix it. Oh no, sucker. You have got to do your part. There are no magic pills out here, because for every one of those magic pills, they have magic side effects. And I am the case in point. I was given magic pills that saved my life on one hand, but those pills also destroyed my hips. And so, I have 2 hip replacements. I had bilateral hip replacements last year. So I'm walking on brand new hips. I'm bionic. But seriously, all of those medications, I mean, even a Tylenol and aspirin, they have side effects. And if you just happen to get the wrong side effect, a simple pill can take you completely out of the mix. And it may not just kill you. I mean, because there are worse things than being dead, okay? When you've got someone wiping your behind and wiping your drool because you've stroked out, it's not a pretty thing. And you are going to have no quality of life until you're gone. So, it doesn't matter how young you are, start early and don't take this body for granted, because the things that we do, they catch up with us. And then, there are people who are out there who, whether they weren't blessed genetically or whether something happened, they're fighting for their lives. They're going through getting these organ transplants. And, for those of you who don't know, it sounds like a panacea to get an organ transplant. But when you get a transplant, you're actually trading one illness for another, because in order to have that transplant, it is a foreign substance in your body. So therever after, you have to be immunosuppressed so that your body does not reject that organ. And it is a constant battle to not have the organ reject.
Right.
Well, you guys are really good stuff. You've gone certainly from mental health and now physical health. This is good. And you can do any more than that. I except wealth, we can go to wealth. But so
we do that too. We do that too.
We can go to healthy wealth.
There you go. Health is wealth. Health is wealth. Without your health, wealth doesn't matter.
That's right. Wealth gives health too sometimes. In this case, you can buy some stuff and help people.
This is true. This is absolutely true. But one of the things that I have what I call the windmill healthy lifestyle paradigm. And that paradigm looks at 7 different areas of health. And there isn't anything on the planet that touches us that does not in some way affect our health, which is why our shows are all over the map. We keep this very organic. We keep it as a conversation, and we can go anywhere with it because everything that we say in some way affects our health. So that's why we're going from soups to nuts here. And
doctor, it's funny because somebody did ask me the other day, like, what kind of programs do you do? Like, I'm into everything. It's like, well, isn't it like iHealth Radio, the iHealth channel? Well, everything alive, and I challenge everyone, tell me if that doesn't affect your health. If it's not around us, it will affect us somehow, somewhere, physically or mentally. So it is reality. It is how we roll.
Yeah, you find something that doesn't in some way affect your health. I don't want to hear about that one.
So do I.
Okay. All right. So, Andre, tell us how we can help you in your mission.
Well, I mean, just enlighten, like I said, people in the communities, just enlighten them to, especially Black men, even the prostate thing. You got to get your prostate checked. A lot of men, you can do it through the blood, the PSA. We just have to go to the doctors more. So, I mean, I relate my message to anybody. I have my, social media. I mean, I've done it. I had a testimony. I was in a hospital gown and I relayed the message. God told me to relay this message to everyone. And that's what I did. So, Just pay attention to your diet, exercise, stuff like that. But I mean, on the mass level, each one.
Now we are talking about the 50th anniversary of hip hop, and I think that what you just said is a very important message because we have a lot of young ladies in hip hop and in rap now. It's still a male predominated field. And our men want to talk about their prowess and their capabilities and all. And when you come up with prostate issues and when you're on these medications, things aren't working as well as they could. And instead of going and addressing it, we ignore it. And I don't want anybody giving me anything that my stuff might not work or whatever.
Yeah.
A, your life is really valuable, whether your junk works or not. B, if you take care of your business early, then you're going to circumvent those problems. So it's important to prevent. It's important to make the lifestyle changes so that you can live the life that you want. And that, I'm really talking to you hip hop and rap artists out there. Take care of yourselves and do it early. I mean, dropping like flies, 50, 60, 40, dropping like flies.
That's right.
So,
yes.
Hey guys, I think I have the song now. Let me see if it works.
Okay.
No, nothing.
He's teasing us. He's just teasing us.
Listen, I'm working this. It's not cooperating to mix in.
Okay, well, keep working on it there. Keep working on it there. So, in the name of hip hop,
Since you're recording the entire conversation, it's not going to work playing outside audio. So it's a mixer, so I could get it. It's just not coming in through the feed. That's all.
Have you tried sharing your screen too?
Zoom is.
Oh no, it's from outside, so it's not from the computer. Yeah. Anyways,
Okay,
I'll try. Don't worry.
Yeah.
try to do the entertainment part, but it didn't work right now.
All right.
Next time I plan in advance. So.
Okie dokie. We're holding you to that.
I know.
Okay. So, in the name of hip hop, let us bring on the great Grand Master Dee.
How's everybody doing this late night?
Well, it depends on where you are, because we're out in California, so it's still pretty early for us.
Oh, y'all 3 hours behind. Yeah. I just want to say happy birthday, hip hop, 50 years. In my career, I started in 1977, my freshman year in high school. And the blessing is my dream was to become an NBA player.
Mm-hmm.
I was real good in basketball. But when I transferred from Brooklyn and moved to a place called Roosevelt Island, I went to a brand new high school. So I saw hip hop. I heard hip hop. And I said, yo, that's what I want to do. I said, what is that? I heard him say, yes, y'all. We like our sound, loud, and clear. And my classmate was like, that's rap. We didn't call it hip hop. We called it rap.
Mm-hmm.
And I followed it, went to a lot of parties, jams, and got me 2 turntables and started running with it.
Okay. Now, again, because our focus is on mental health here, can you talk about one of the ways that the music challenged you to be a better person?
Well, what made me a better person, it was the community and my mother and father. I was raised with a mother and father. Like we always say, it starts at home. It's all about respect. And what they taught us at home. We knew we would never disrespect our parents and disrespect the family. And at that time, coming up in Brooklyn, the neighborhood stuck together so good that if I saw your mother coming on the block with 2 shopping bags, I'm gonna help her upstairs. You know, that was due to respect. Never cursed in front of elders, never disrespected elders. And sometimes coming up in that part of life, you're always gonna run into it. You might have a fight with another guy that y'all didn't like each other at first, and then later on, after the fight, y'all became friends. We use fists, but
I was gonna say the fist fight.
Yeah, but mainly we didn't have to fight because we had that love in us. You know, everything we saw was all about love and respect. And you know, we made up games. We didn't stay in the house and play video games. We didn't have it like that. You know, we made up games. We played basketball, and thank God for the PAL, and thank God for the Boys Club. But we also stayed outside until maybe when the street lights get ready to come on. Our parents told us, you know, we didn't never stay in front of grown folks and listen to their conversation. That was a no-no.
Oh yeah.
And you know, I thank God to come up in a good era. 60s and 70s was some of the greatest music of all time. You know, listening to Earth, Wind and Fire, listening to Joe Tex, listening to James Brown, and Soul Train, watching Soul Train every Saturday.
Soul Train.
May Don Cornelius rest in peace, man. Nice guy. Met him. We did Soul Train 3 times, and hell of a guy. And he fought that war to break the doors down for groups like Earth, Wind and Fire and Joe Tex and James Brown and people like us of color to make it in this game. And that was our platform.
Absolutely. I miss the Soul Train. I mean, you know, every weekend you plugged in.
Yes. And, you know, taking it back to the 60s and 70s, like I was saying, it was always a message in the music. Like you heard the OJ say, we got a message in our music. You know, they were talking about something. Most likely they was uplifting us, not tearing us down. And that's what the beauty was about music, you know.
And what messages do you bring in your music?
Oh, songs like Friends, how many of us have them? One love, one love. You're lucky just to have just one love. And freaks come out at night. But the main thing was it was mainly about one love. Jallo was an incredible writer. And Larry Smith, may he rest in peace. He was a hell of a producer for us, Run DMC, the Fat Boys, and Curtis Blow. One thing about Larry Smith, he made all of us sound different. We did not sound the same, but we owe that credit to Jallo with that great pen he had writing those great lyrics.
Absolutely. And I think that is one of the areas where the old music was different from the newer music, but that's shifting now because, you know, there was a period in time where everybody sounded exactly like everybody else. It was cookie cutter music and it lost its power.
I look at it today is they separated us from the new rappers.
Right.
And I really feel that it's supposed to get better, but to me it got worse. And you know, I'm not gonna bite my tongue because we was uplifting people and we had something to talk about. Hip hop was about love. Because of hip hop, people were employed. Because of hip hop, we got fashion.
Right.
You know, because of hip hop, we got hip hop movies. And you gotta look at it to the point where when hip hop came, they were afraid back then, but we wasn't even cussing on records. And they was like, it's a fad, it's not gonna last. But I knew it was gonna last when we found out we was the first to go platinum. We was the first rap group to sell 1 million albums. But just as well, they pushed it. It was no internet. So imagine if we had the internet then. You know, we had to go out and sign autographs. We had to go do radio. We had to do in-stores in the mall. These guys don't do that. They become an internet sensation overnight. But I always felt that I just wanted to be responsible for the music that we made. And I wanted the people to respect our music just like we would respect them. But I never want to make nothing to disrespect nobody, you know, and today they're talking about killing each other on records. They're disrespecting women. And how long you figure that's going to last? If everybody's doing the same thing, it's not going to last long. I always said, if you follow, you can't lead.
This is true.
And this is what it's all about. It's got to come back to love. We got to bring the love back into the game, because hip hop, when it started in the parks, we did it for free. We didn't know it was going to turn into money. Now it's the #1 selling in the world. It's $1 billion business, and everybody.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think it? I mean, because a lot of people said it wouldn't last, and yet it has lasted. It's had staying power, and if anything, it's becoming more powerful with each passing day. What is it that is driving it?
It's the internet. The internet and videos are being seen, but they got the young ones. They really got this new generation wrapped around them, and then they're listening to everything they said. Yes, and they're following them. So I really feel that they're poisoning the mind of these youths that are coming up today. You know, it's nothing positive coming out of it. Everything is about hurting somebody or gang related, and it's not about that. We got to bring peace back to this game, and we got to put it back the way it started. It's like a missing piece in the puzzle right now. Now we got to put that puzzle back together.
And I think you also think, Doctor, when it answers your question, I think the authenticity of hip hop, and that it really reflected the streets. I think that's why it connected so many people, and it just blew up. I mean, I remember I think it was 91 when I was sitting down. I think it was in New York City with Steve Smith and Judy Ellis. And they were like, "Can we make this station at Hot 97 hip hop?" It was, it was doing dancing. And we're going to do this. Funk Master Flex was kicking it at night. And then all of a sudden, they made that radical thing of doing a 24/7 hip hop station in New York. Power 106 in LA copied it. And then all of a sudden, it started exploding. But it truly, I think, represented the streets and it represented the culture. I think the authenticity of it just had it explode. And I think now, even kids on Spotify, they just want the truth. They don't want the commercial pop anymore. The stuff that's blowing up is really the niches that people can relate to. It's not the mainstream pop stuff anymore.
Right.
It's like today, underground is pop.
Exactly.
This is true.
Yeah, and it's hardcore, but to them, it's like pop. If you hear it on a pop station, you're surprised. Everything changed. It's a new breed out there. But I just want to promote the positive.
And I have to ask you, Grand Master, which hood were you from in Brooklyn? Because my grandmother was there. I was once in the Cumberland Hospital there, and
that's near Fort Greene.
Yeah,
DeKalb Avenue.
DeKalb Avenue. That's where my grandmother lived, right there on DeKalb Avenue.
That's a Spike Leach from right there. Yeah, I was from a part called Flatbush, Brooklyn.
Flatbush, I know it.
I come from a town with special ed, Chubb Rock, UTFO.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I know that really well.
Full force.
Cool. All right then. Okay, so let's talk to Jezus Rose, representing the younger demographic. So talk to me about this whole hip hop thing. What got you into it? Jezus, you have your mic muted. There you go.
There we go. Yeah, I had to figure it out real quick. What got me into music, honestly, is it like bro was saying earlier, music was kind of a therapy for me. You know what I'm saying? I grew up in St. Louis, Missouri. I stayed in one of the worst parts. Like I was born in one of the worst parts. I seen a lot at a very young age. I think my first time seeing somebody like die in front of me, I was 6. My pops went to prison when I was about 5, 6. He was in and out of prison my whole life. You know what I'm saying? But stuff that he was doing in the streets was starting to get close to home. So my mom ended up moving me and my family away from St. Louis to a smaller town, like 100 miles outside of the city. And I actually went from being in the hood where I never saw white people to being in a place where I only saw white people. So because of that, I kind of, even though I was only 6, you know, I was developed enough to realize like I was in a different environment. I was in an environment that I didn't really relate to. And because of that, I felt like an outsider, you know what I'm saying? And then I dealt with racism on an extreme level. When I was about 16, I would say 16 and a half, I ended up catching a case where it could have ruined my life for the rest of my life. And, you know, the only thing that I could relate to was sports and music, you know. So my grandma's favorite rapper was Tupac. My grandma either listened to Tupac or she listened to either Tupac or Michael Jackson. You know what I'm saying? Those are the only 2 people I listened to growing up. So, you know, that's where the nose ring came from. My grandma had her nose ring. But, you know, he spoke on a lot of real life things. You know what I'm saying? And because he spoke on a lot of real life things, you know, that's just what I gravitated towards. I gravitated towards the real stuff. So music ended up really just being my therapy. You know what I'm saying? It became my outlet whenever I felt like not understood, or when I felt like an outsider, or when I just wanted to be around something that I related to more. Even though when I think back on it, you know, what I related to more was still kind of toxic, you know what I'm saying? But it was what I knew. It was my culture, you know what I'm saying? And because of that, you know, music kind of saved my life a little bit, you know?
Oh, thank you. And how have you changed over the years in your music journey?
Ooh, that's a good question. Well, I started out rapping. You know, I like I said, I come from a rough place. So, you know, all of my homies was gangbangers, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
You know, robbers, you know, drug dealers, you know, we don't listen to no R&B. If we did, it's in our private time, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, you know, I related to people like Tupac, DMX, you know what I'm saying? Like Bone Thugs, you know, and then like when some of the newer artists came out, you know, I listened to a lot of like 50 Cent and Rick Ross and, you know, but as I grew older, I kind of fell in love with music to the point where I was trying to do everything from engineering, you know what I'm saying, writing the music, singing the music, rapping the music. And I got tired of trying to get, you know, cats to sing things how I wanted them to sing them on my records. So I just started singing them myself. And it was funny because I grew up in church. I played the drums in church. I sang in choir, you know, until I got old enough to make the decision to not go to church. Then my mom used to drag me to church, so I had to make it enjoyable for myself. But not to say that it's not, but you know how it is as a kid. We either go to church, we go to church for the snacks or to sleep. You know what I'm saying? We trying to get up out there, you know what I'm saying? But you know, once I got older, I got tired of trying to teach people how I wanted them to sing on my records. So I just started singing it myself, and I kind of found out that I actually enjoy singing. And then I actually ended up joining an R&B group randomly. A friend of mine, when I was 16 and I caught that case, I ended up having to go to a different school. I got kicked out of the school I was in. I had to go to a different school, and, you know, I was troubled. You know what I'm saying? My mom got married to a cat that I didn't know. I felt like he didn't have my mom's best interest. So me and him used to butt heads like all the time. Like it got deep, you know? And my mom just told me, like, I think it's best if you're not here. I think that if you stay here, then it'll create a bigger problem for you in your future, you know? So, cause I was a hothead, you know what I'm saying? I scrapped a lot, you know? So he was finna be the next one to get scrapped. But I ended up having to move out of my mom's house. And I was—
How old were you?
I was about 16, 17. And I bounced around a couple of my homies' cribs. And I used to sleep at one of my friends' cribs. His name is Will. I was friends with his auntie and I was actually friends with his step pops. And I used to just stay over his crib, and I would sing in the shower, and his mom would hear me singing, and she was friends with a guy who had an R&B group, and they was looking for a fourth member. So they literally drove 100 miles from the city down to this small town and just asked me to sing for him. And then I sang for him, and it went from there. Then it turned into vocal lessons every week. You know, I was traveling and staying away from my family, and I kind of just dug into the music, and the R&B really just shifted. And then like I don't know, I just experienced life more, you know. The more I evolved and my paradigm shifted, my experiences changed, my music changed, and I was able to articulate it in a way that more people would be able to understand from all different age ranges, from young to old to white to black, every demographic I'm able to relate, because I've experienced so much in all different facets of life, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, my music has evolved tremendously because of that, you know.
Now, the younger people, they want to be true to themselves. They want to be authentic, and they feel like letting go of that hard edge is losing something. You said a couple of things, you know, you said a mouthful here, but you talked about evolving. As you evolved and you started to embrace other cultures and other experiences, did you feel like you were losing anything? Did you feel like you were any less authentic?
Nah, if anything, I felt like I had one up on majority of the people that I became, that I interacted with. You know, when I moved back to the city, I realized that there was a lot of information that they didn't have that I ended up picking up because I was around people who lived a different lifestyle. You know, most of the friends that I had in the city, they didn't have both their parents. Most of the friends that I had when I moved to the country, they did. You know, they didn't know about assets. They didn't know about buying land. They didn't know about owning property. They didn't know about, you know what I'm saying? Like all of the things that are generational, where I'm from, you know. But when I moved there, I was able to see all of those things firsthand and how it affected all of their lives, you know. So I kind of felt like I had edge. And then like at the same time, you know, even though I was in a place where, you know, most of them people were living a quote unquote better life, you know, and they lacked edge. They didn't have a warrior's mentality. You know, they weren't able to, they didn't exude the level of,
they weren't hungry.
Yeah, they weren't hungry for sure. You know what I'm saying? And they just didn't exude the tenacity to just go out and make something happen. You know what I'm saying? Because whenever you come from nothing, it's like you kind of don't have a choice. You're back against the wall, and it's like sink or swim. You know, whereas I kind of developed the where how to fight through anything. You know, and whereas those people, they kind of had more of a silver spoon. They didn't have to work as hard as I did. You know, for multiple reasons, but yeah.
Now, what do you think made you take the tack of fighting for a positive experience? And, you know, you're here today, but I'm sure you have friends who are not here today because they made a less positive choice.
Honestly, that was a battle throughout like the majority of my life, because the majority of my life, you know, like bro was saying, like I grew up in a household where my mom was working all the time, so she was never around. My pops wasn't there. He was in prison majority of the time. And when he wasn't, he was in the streets. So me and my brothers, we kind of raised ourselves. And because we raised ourselves, like that attention, that nurturing, that, you know, that brother, that care that we wanted from our parents, we kind of sought it from other places. So I did like when I was younger, I kind of was I wouldn't necessarily say attention seeking. I would say more so just codependent. So I would do things to try to blend in, and I got a sense of brotherhood from my guys in the streets. So what it would require to blend in wasn't always positive. You know what I'm saying? So that battle, it fluctuated. But I think what really was the turning point for me, for real, to be honest, was getting shot and realizing that I could have died. You know, I was in a lot of situations where bullets was flying, but like none of them never hit me. And then when the one did, you know, you in that hospital and you got doctors and you got police officers and they all telling you like, you lucky to be alive, you lucky to be alive. Like, it kind of shift your mindset, you know, because I'm at this point, you know, at that point, I was around people that was getting big money. You know, I was seeing lifestyles that were way different than what I was experiencing in real life, but I always saw on television. I always heard in music. But I got older and I started to be around it because I was moving around differently, you know. And I was like, why am I wasting my life, you know, playing with this when it's people out here who are enjoying life and they getting the most out of it. And in all honesty, like, what if I don't make it, like, how many people am I gonna affect? You know, and my little brothers look up to me. I got 15 little brothers, you know, and they look up to me. And if they following in my footsteps and they doing all of the same things as me, that means I'm leading them to a cliff, you know, and the only way off of a cliff is backwards or off the edge. And I ain't really trying to make them go either way. You know, I want them to flourish. And they look like a superhero. So, you know, just that was a turning point for me. And it turned me into who I am today, to be honest.
Okay. All right. So in terms of how we can support you and what you would like for people to know about your purpose, your mission, what do you want to say to us?
I'm gonna say I make music for love. You know, I'm an R&B singer. And I think one of the biggest problems that we have in our culture specifically is a lack of a family dynamic. You know, I feel like our foundation has been torn away from us. And I think that's because we glorifying nowadays, especially the wrong things. So in order to support me, the best thing I would say is stream my music, share my music. You know what I'm saying? Listen to my music and understand that, you know, love is the balance. Love is how we, you know, shift everything. Family is how we shift everything. Yeah, I mean, that's just it, you know. If y'all want to send some money through, you know what I'm saying, I'm always welcome to that. You know, it's all gonna get reinvested, you know what I'm saying?
Right. No shame in that game.
Yeah,
Good
you
for
know,
you.
support the music though, man. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And how much of a bridge do you see between yourself and the other young artists like you and the GOATs like Grand Master?
You know, before I would have said I didn't see one. You know, before I would have said that I didn't see a bridge. Simply just because, like, we started, I don't know if y'all really, I'm sure y'all have really paid attention to the game, but like, it was almost like for a minute, like the music that was being created was so, I mean, I guess the only word that come to mind is trash. Like, it was just trash, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, how in the world are we going to come back from this, you know? But everything has a counteraction to it, you know what I'm saying? And people are hungry now for things of substance, music of substance. So I think that's the bridge. I think that, you know, honestly, I think R&B is the bridge. I think R&B is the bridge to that, you know, where we can start getting back to making music that makes people feel, that people can relate to, that and not just of one generation, of all generations, because we all listen to music, we all love music, we all inspired by it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think R&B is the gap, to be honest. I think I'm a big part of that bridge. You know? So.
And that was one thing I was scratching my head trying to remember what the question was that I wanted to ask earlier. But that was the one thing that I was wondering about. You said something earlier about how if you were listening to R&B, it was in the closet and in the house, hidden away from everybody else. What brought you out of that? What brought you into the light?
Realizing that even the hardest of hard dudes need love. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got Pablo Escobar, he still had a wife. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got everybody. Everybody need love. That's honestly the reason why half these cats out here doing the things that they're doing, is because that's what they lacking. They don't have that, So, and then honestly, I'm just at a point where I'm so confident in what God created, you know what I'm saying, which is myself. I'm so confident in what he made. Like, I don't care what nobody else think. You know what I'm saying? I done been through it all, What is the person gonna do or say to me to sway me or make me, not want to do something that my heart tells me to? We don't care about that, We stand on our truth and we do what we want to do. And
right.
I feel like every man should do that, So I'm gonna be the example and do it first,
Excellent. Excellent. Grand Master, is there anything that you'd like to say to a young man like Jezus Rose as he's making his way in the industry and, moving up in the industry?
Follow your dream, have confidence and believe in yourself, and try to be different. You got to lead, don't follow. If you lead, they got to follow you. You see, you don't want to follow them because they all doing the same thing. You want to stand out different. You want to give a different message to the world, And just like you said, you've been through so much. And like I said, too, God spared you. So, you already know what to do. You done made it this far. Now you explain everything that you went through and how you did it for the better. And now you're here to whatever it takes to help lift your family, your brothers, like you said. And that's what it's all about.
Most definitely.
Now, I would like to say something.
I would like to say something?
That's
Aussyy, yeah.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say Jesus, right?
Yeah, what's up, bro?
Well, I love your story, bro, and keep it going. I heard the word evolve. I'm very big into evolving it spiritually. One thing I recommend to you, you sound like God gave you a talent, which God gives everybody a talent, but you found yours. If you meditate more and you start thanking God and you have faith in your tracks and you watch for the clues that God sends you, because he's going to test you. That's how God works. He's going to test you before you get whatever you want in every circumstance. Meditate, gain your awareness, get the hidden information from above, which is God himself. You know your talents, you're gifted. Take it to the next level. Pay attention.
Hey, I appreciate that. Yeah, you spitting facts, man. Meditation is actually a daily practice. Journaling is a daily practice. I practice stillness. And me and God are close. You know what I'm saying?
Sir.
That's my dog. You know what I'm saying? We have great conversations, and I hear him loud and clear. And anytime I don't listen, he kicks me right in my butt. You know what I'm saying? So, like, you spin facts. I appreciate that, Brody. Thank you.
Yep, proud of you.
Likewise,
Greedy, I'd like to ask you a question. Greedy, is Greedy still there with us?
It should be.
I can't see everybody.
Let me text his phone telling me.
I don't see him.
Okay. All right.
Greedy a busy man. We in the process.
Greedy a busy man.
We doing a lot right now, man. So his phone is going every day off the hook.
Well, the question I was going to ask, and I'll just kind of throw it out there for everybody, is one of the things that I'm seeing, and it's been there to a certain extent, but I'm seeing more and more of it. I'm seeing a grounding in the music, and I'm seeing more and more of the rappers and hip hop artists finding their strength in God and finding no shame in talking about their spiritual beliefs in the music, in the videos. Why do you think this shift occurred? Ricky, let's throw that question at you, Ricky.
One more time. I'm sorry. I was trying to reach Greedy.
Okay, we gonna wait. You reach Greedy, and Aussyy had his hand up. So let's hear what Aussyy had to say here.
Yes, the reason why the Earth is shifting is because there is being a vibrational shift, if that makes sense. There's being a vibrational shift held on planet Earth, which means that nobody else has a plan other than love. The Matrix is crashing. Let's just make that make sense. The Matrix is going down. The rap songs are going away. They're trying to introduce gays. They're trying to make everybody more loving in a simple way of the fact the Matrix is going down. Simple.
And has anybody ever said that you kind of remind them of Prince?
Yes. Yes.
I was like, it looks a lot like Prince here.
Yeah. Hopefully, future coming soon. I'm going to be playing a Prince movie.
Oh, nice. I can see that. I can very much see that.
That would be fun. That would be fun.
Yeah.
God, Jesus.
Yes, it would. Yes, it would.
If it's cool, I would like to answer that question too, though. I think,
yeah, absolutely.
I think that one of the reasons why is because, it's hard to deny that God exists nowadays. You know what I'm saying? I feel like the devil is like kind of right in our face, and if the devil exists, then God definitely exists, and, I think we've given, the earth has given everything a try. The good, the bad, the ugly, you know what I'm saying? The ups, the downs, the all arounds, so everything's been given a try. That's why we see so much chaos. We see confusion, we see greed, we see war, we see all of the things, which in all honesty is historical. It's revolving. It always comes back around, just like good always comes back. Good always wins in the end. You know what I'm saying? So, and God always wins in the end. So, I think people are just, like you said, the Matrix is falling. People's eyes are being open to the truth.
Yes. And you have the power of anything with your own mind. You can create things with your own mind. So you got the 12 universal laws. If you don't know your universal laws, or you haven't read the 48 laws of power, or The Game of Life and How to Play It, made in 1925, is a great book. I just read it myself. It teaches you the game of life. It's amazing. So we're definitely looking to that book, The Game of Life and How to Play It, because you can play it just right.
Okay, and you see these are some fly young men, and yet they read. Okay, reading is not just for nerds, and intellectualism is not dead. Knowledge is power.
Yes,
knowledge
it is
power.
Every day.
Knowledge is power. Hurricane.
Doctor, before, sorry, go ahead.
Just kind of wanted to throw that out to you. What are your thoughts? Because you talk to a lot of people, and I know that you're very insightful. What are your thoughts on what's happening with this transition in the music?
I have to say this. It had to stop. People had to wake up. There is an awakening, period. You can only have a break in the moment, right? You can have some sort of a stagnation. You can have some loss, but eventually people wake up and tend to feel like, what the hell is going on? To be honest with you, we had these discussions. Not all the music that's been going has been, you can't even understand the lyrics. There is no content, to it. There is no flavor to it. There's beat. You can't even get the voices. It's been all synthesized to a degree. But the core of what it is, the message, as Grand Master mentioned earlier, it had a whole different meaning then, and now it's coming back. And you and I had that brief discussion last time. This is a new age, new era, and people, there's a comeback. That's beautiful, and the comeback is based on that we just said. I'm talking about God. I'm talking about people are aware that something is off, and I think there is another element. I do believe that the pandemic did have something to do with it, because a lot of people had the moment to reflect on life. Better than ever, because you're running, everybody was running. Who thought that this is going to happen? It happened, and we saw a lot of loss of life, instant. Nobody expected it, and it was closer than ever than people thought about, worldwide. And then people also had the time to reflect, and frankly, a lot of people, when there's some sort of an event or tragedy, that's when they find God. I mean, it's just
right.
It's like, that's where you wake up like, hey, time out. I got to do something about it. And it changed, I think, the dynamics, and the younger folks, now are reflecting on that. And I see it more on social media. I see it more on the upcoming folks that are coming. And by the way, I love what I heard today. I mean, to your point, I mean, these are like, you guys are my son's age, and I love what I hear from you. The fact that you are coming back and feeling it, and you're seeing, and you're giving back, and you realize what is worth it, what is not, and the things that can make a difference, and you sending a message about it. So me personally, I think it is time. That revolution, if you want to call it, is here, and it is an evolution to the degree, as you mentioned as well, of where it needs to be. I mean, yes, we have a decline, and then you get only a certain point where you plateau, and you have to kick back. It's like a roller coaster, right? It's like down. Now it's time to go up again, and I think we're doing that. And it is a beautiful thing to hear that we're getting to a better point than where we are. No offense to some of the last decade or whatever, a couple of decades where things kind of got lost. I'm 51. I'm old school. I grew up in the hip hop and all that stuff, and I love the music. And I have this debate with my kids, like, I don't know what you guys are listening to and what it's not vibing with me. And my daughter now is listening to my stuff to a degree, but it's not an influence or anything. It just, everybody has its own time, right? And I get it. If I talk to someone that was in the 60s, like, what the hell were you listening to, right? And that's just how it goes. But there is a flavor that is kind of coming back to the reality, to a certain point where it makes more sense. It's nicer, at least, to listen to things. And I feel it's back, and I think it's going to just get better and better. And so I don't know if I answered the question, but that's my feeling.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to agree with you, because as I'm, looking across the different platforms at the different musicians, I am seeing the old school marrying up with the new school. And one of the things that I'm seeing that I'm loving is that I'm seeing the older generation starting to reach across the table and really reach out to the younger generation. And there's receptivity there. And so, they're saying, how can we move forward together and create something fresh? I'm seeing old music being incorporated into the new music, refreshed and given a new spin. And it's better in some ways than the original. It's been given a freshness and a crispness that's exciting. And I see it because that old music did have such a message of positivity, and such a message in general, because it wasn't always positive. I mean, we had a lot of love songs back then, but, there were a lot of broken heart love songs, and they taught us how to have relationships. And relationships is something that we kind of got away from. And how people were coming together was not really necessarily conducive to respecting ourselves and respecting each other and creating ways that we could build. And, we watched the breakdown of families, and, even the breakdown of friendships. Because I remember there was a point in time where I was looking at my son and watching him interacting with his friends. And there was this culture of getting over. You were trying to get over on your friend. And I'm seeing people come out of that now. And I think that there was a lot of pain in that, and a lot of suffering that, happened through it. And I'm seeing people, reaching for something different now. They're tired. And, on both sides of the fence, they're just tired and want to see the world going in a better direction than what we've had going, because it's been toxic, and the world is in pain. It is sick, it is hurting. And I, for one, am loving watching these generational bridges being built, and I'm excited to see what's being created out of it.
Well, Doctor, I mean, look, this is a perfect platform. We have mix of generations, and we are talking the same, almost the same language here, although there is a good few decades of I guess experiences and just work. But yet, to your point, it is getting closer. There's a more outreach from the earlier generation to the new one, and there's more work done. So it is happening today more than ever, and that's an awesome thing to hear. So I'm just super excited about it, and and I love what we're doing here, and it's happening. I did want to just give you note that Dr. Bob Lee from, I think, WBLS is with us.
Cool.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw him, but he's on the back end. So I just want to make sure that, he's been very quiet, I think.
Well,
hey, Bob, you taking notes?
He's taking notes, right?
Well, bring him on in, and let's say hello, and let's get a few words from him.
Doctor, there he is.
Yeah, I'm multitasking. I come on in about 6 minutes.
Okay.
All right.
Minutes.
All right. Well, spit it on out there.
Yeah, I'm doing a little bit of radio and TV, and I've been doing voice work most of the day. I choose this day to do it. I have something called that comes on during the day. It's called What's Going On. So we have this huge college bus tour going around to a lot of the HBCUs. It starts Monday, the 10th, and it comes back on the 14th. So it's going to start off, it's going to go to Lincoln University, and I'm going to miss somebody, but it's going to tour from Pennsylvania to Maryland to Virginia to North Carolina, South Carolina, and end up down there by where Drew lives in Atlanta. And so Clark and Spelman and all that, and we'll hang out a little bit.
Morehouse.
Students. Morehouse too, yeah. And they'll make
I'm a Morehouse grad.
Back. Yeah, in North Carolina, and they'll go back to the city. But I'm going to stop off at my house over there in South Carolina, and I'll be doing a lot of radio work out of my personal studio.
Okay.
So I'm just moving around, doing some things, making it happen, keeping myself busy. But Drew and I, we grew up in the same area, and we came across a couple of genres of music. And I grew up in Queensbridge Projects. I was to play the music park over there. And later on, Drew and I got together and we started visiting prisons. And we started seeing a lot of the people that we were playing music to in the prisons. And sometimes they tried to hide. Sometimes they just came straight up to us, say, "Hey, Bob, what's up, Drew?" They didn't want us to remember, they tried to hide a little bit, most of them. But what we wanted to do was go in there and let them know that, hey, some people make mistakes. We get caught out there. We grew up in a rough neighborhood. Like my brother Jesus was saying, people, bullets passing you by and people dying on the benches from overdoses and everything, and getting kicked out of school. I listened to that whole thing while I had the other ear on what I was trying to do. What time is it? Oh, I got a few more minutes. But yeah, a lot of us have been through some of the same things, but we have to take this and use it and use the platforms that we have that are out there to educate others. We have something called that Drew and I are working on with Curtis Blow and a lot of the early day rappers. And a lot of them, we've got a huge team now. It's called HHA.
Okay.
Hip Hop Alliance. If you go to hiphopalliance.org, you can see a lot of the work that we're doing and what we're trying to put together to help others get what they need out of life, as far as healthcare, because a lot of us are dying early. So as far as doctor, you know, heart attack, strokes, and all of that, high blood pressure, diabetes, all the degenerative diseases. So we're trying to put some things together that will help them out and get them involved in a union type of atmosphere and help them to realize that, hey, you're not going to be able to do the same thing that you were doing when you were maybe 20, 30, 40 years old. The mind will say, yes, I can do this. But the body, if you didn't take care of it well, will say, wait a minute. Hold up, wait a minute.
There you go.
Do what you think you want to do. So you have to begin to take care of yourself. We just want to create that awareness that there is something out there that will help out with that.
And that's really an important thing because so many of these artists, they hit that point where they start to pay with their health. And then, they've made good money along the way. And it can get sucked out from under them so quickly. One bad health situation can suck everything you worked for out from under you.
Yeah. And people like Grand Master Dee and a lot of the other artists, R&B, all genres of music, they travel the world.
Yes.
Not always eating right and sleeping right, and just
not sleeping
and burning it up all over everywhere you go. But some people realize that, hey, I have to do something to help myself so I can create this longevity, and then help others by going to the prisons and going to the schools and just creating the awareness that there's something different other than the lifestyle that we grew up in. See, there's a circle. There's a circle. Like if you grew up in the projects and you never get out of the projects, that's all you know. And so like my brother Jesus said, you gotta get out into the country. I saw two different lives there. Wait a minute. What's happening here? Wait a minute. I thought it was just this. Now it's that. Well, wait a minute. I can do something more with myself now. I'm not locked into what I thought was the only thing that I knew.
Right.
Got a chance to see cows and I never saw cows and horses until my father started driving us out to the country. I never cow crap, or anything like that. Until we started walking on the farm. So we got out of the hood and found out that, wow, wait a minute, this is a whole nother planet here. People living like this out here. I want that too. My father used to say, see that fine house, that fine car, you can have that too. All you have to do is stay in school, get that education. Like you said, knowledge is power. Whatever you want to do in life, you have to get the knowledge of what to say, what to do, and how to be. If you can do that, you can get what you want out of life and help others get what they need, because you get what you need by helping others. It's a circle of love.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that's really important because like in the old days of Motown and all, they actually had courses in etiquette and how to dress and, that savoir faire, how to present yourself in whatever situation. I think we have to get back to that, to expanding the minds of our young people, and not just our young people, but even our older people who have been trapped in situations that may not have allowed them to grow.
Exactly.
Yeah. Dr. Bob Lee, I'm actually doing the HBCU tour myself. I'm gonna be in North Carolina and South Carolina from the 12th to the 16th, and then we're gonna slide over to DC. We're gonna touch a couple places, probably New Orleans. So hopefully I get a chance to meet you while we out there. You know what I'm saying? I'm not exactly sure what specifics you're doing when it comes to the HBCU tours, but if there's a way that me and my camp can help you or anything, or we can just, collaborate on anything, I would love to do that while we out there. You know what I'm saying?
That can be real cool. Yeah. That feels real good, helping others, right?
Yeah, that's what we do it for.
You're going out and we're going to do the same thing with mental health. We're going to go to the campuses and talk about mental health and combine music and comedy at the same time. And I just think, it's a responsibility that we have right now. And I think Dr. Bob Lee, I think of the old days of BLS with Frankie Crocker and people that came on and really entertained and gave back. I think it's a lost responsibility right now. And I think we've got to go to the campuses and we have to teach. We have to save lives. I think you're doing Dr. and Jesus and, going on the road. It's kind of what our higher responsibility is. We started with Howard University. We started with WHUR and we're going from there onward. And I just think if more people do that, that's how we're going to elevate our youth. That's how we're going to spread the goodwill of hip hop.
Absolutely.
Beautiful.
Absolutely. And I think through the music is a way that we really can reach our young people, because, music is a place where everybody can connect, when we can use this as a tool for the betterment of the world. So, and it sounds like each and every one of you is about it. So, you've all met each other. You've all, heard the stories and, heard the projects. And there's some wonderful projects here. And if we all pitch in and get involved in each other's projects, we can support each other. And that's the way it's done. No man is an island. And I mean, we each like to have our name attached to something, but we are stronger collectively than we are individually. And that doesn't mean that we can't have our own project, but we need to start reaching out more to each other and letting each other support us in our project. We can't get so caught up in the ownership of the project that we don't let it grow and don't let it become as much as it could be, because we're holding on to it too tight. It's kind of like a child. If you put a stranglehold on the child, then the child isn't going to grow. So we need to raise these projects up. Tell us what we can do to help you with that project. Is he still here?
I think he was ready to get on the air. So
yeah, he probably has jumped
he's
off.
live.
Yep. Okay,
we can tune into WBLS and then hear him, doing his thing right now. So, but Doctor, you said something powerful. In unity, there is strength. We know that, and it's actually a motto. I think there's a Brooklyn, piece in there. So
yes.
for those of us that actually have lived their life in Brooklyn, you would relate to that. But it's a worldwide, concept.
It's a Bay Area thing too.
Well, it's the Grand Army Plaza.
LA.
There's a whole big sign that says it. So it kind of resonates there. And I just said it because I know, like you mentioned, Bed-Stuy. We talked about Flatbush. We talked about
yes.
Cumberland and DeKalb Avenue. So you just sounded right. But I wanted to just ask everybody, I mean, to your point, how do we help? I mean, please do share with us any links and any things that you're doing, a promotion, whatever you have, and we can push it out on our network to the people that watch and follow our systems. I mean, we have other, we all can help, and we have our own following and so on and so forth, and that can assist, in terms of spreading the word, and ultimately more people can be part of it. You never know who's going to see the value and chime in. So, I mean, that's one quick thing that we can do immediately to help. And again, I think one thing that I heard, and is that we talk about health, and you mentioned something about you can have the money, but one bad element, and then you're done. And I think that's a big question for all artists, and it is. We've heard stories where people can really go through tough times, even though you had a nice, patch of a career, and then all of a sudden something happens and it's bad. But healthcare is still difficult. And the question is really to our artists, how do you manage that? I mean, it is a tough place to be. I mean, we don't talk about that. I mean, there's mental health. We talk about it. There's physical health. There is, being tired all the time from working late hours and long hours and so on and so forth. So how do you, or anyone, can join this part of the question. How do you deal with that? I mean, what are measures that you have in place? And, because again, the food can be a problem. the atmosphere can be a problem. All the stuff that we are exposed to. So what is that?
Okay, I would love to answer that.
Yeah, go for it, babe.
Well, first of all, I love what I'm hearing from every single one of you guys. You guys are pretty cool. But first, to answer that, I go to the gym Monday through Friday. Monday through Friday, you got to make the gym a place that you can let out your emotions too. You feel better, you look better. Second, I meditate daily. Meditation, it brings you together to where you can speak to your higher self. We are all creators. Everyone on earth is a creator. So pull out your creating ability from connecting with who you truly are. Because if you don't know who you truly are, then, like when you ask somebody, who are they give you your name, but your name is not you. You are the soul behind it. So figure out who you really are, and that will help you carry out way in life. So yeah.
Absolutely. And
eating right. You got to eat your veggies.
Hey, and when you eat your veggies, you got to eat from the rainbow, eat from all of the colors in the food groups, your oranges, your blues, your greens, your reds. They all have different antioxidants in them. And the antioxidants, the only place you get antioxidants is in fruits and veggies. So eat from that rainbow. And another tip for all of you out there is when you shop and you want to eat healthy, shop the peripheries of the grocery stores, because the fruits and vegetables, the meats, the substantive foods are always around the periphery of the grocery store. The cookies, the ho-hos, the soda pop, all of that is always in the center of the store. So shop the periphery and leave the rest alone.
That's facts.
It's all about nutrition, 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 nutrition. You are what you eat. You are what you eat. And not only are you what you eat in terms of foods, you are what you consume in terms of literature, music, culture. All of that is pouring into your body. As we said earlier, everything that touches you has an effect on you. And if you don't think so, think about the stress that we saw came up. Not to get political, but I mean, I don't think there's anyone that's going to argue that during that Trump administration, there was a big shift and there was a lot of stress that happened. And a lot of people found that they didn't really have the coping mechanisms that they needed to deal with some of the situations. And then if that wasn't bad enough, we dumped COVID on top of that. And so already frazzled systems just kind of started to come apart, and mental health became the flavor of the day. How many people have we seen melting down in the recent years? And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, because it allows people to see that it can happen to anyone, and that it's important to share your feelings and to let it out, not hold it all in, because if you do hold it all in, then that's when you have the suicides that you never saw coming. So, you are what you eat in so many different ways. But if you eat those fruits and vegetables, you get those good nutrients into the body that feed the brain, that give you the antioxidants to support your system, push those endorphins through, you're going to be in a much more positive place. And when you feel
healthier,
good, you look good.
The healthier the body, the stronger the spirit.
There you go. Absolutely. Absolutely. And certainly nourish yourself spiritually. Nourish yourself spiritually. And there's someone going out there, I'm not, into the church. You don't have to be into the church to nourish yourself spiritually. If church is what does that for you, then fabulous. But you do not have to be into the church to nourish yourself spiritually. You do have to nourish yourself spiritually, though, in order to thrive in any other aspect of your life. Your spiritual is your core. It's your base. It's how you relate to anything and everything else in the world. So, I'm struggling here. You're going to have to help me out again. iPhone.
Oh, hello. Hi. Well, I'll say this. I have just enjoyed these young people so much. It's kind of mind-boggling. So I'll go on and give a testimony, since they are, when you're talking about physical health. Right before COVID and during COVID, I had a very, very successful business, multi-million-dollar per year business, almost 700 employees in 13 states. And I got something called PAD, peripheral artery disease, in my legs. And my legs hurt for years, but I ignored it. I ignored it. My wife pushed. I lied and wouldn't go to the doctor. I was too busy. I ignored it. Well, it finally hit me, and I'm okay now. But for 2 years and 3 months, I lived in almost so much pain. I really would have rather be gone. The pain was so bad. As a result of that and COVID, you go from making, a lot of money to nothing. Mm-hmm. And that is really something. So I want to encourage everyone that life is a journey. You will go up, it will go down. However, since we were talking so positive about spiritual growth, that was the only thing that carried me through that. My family and my spiritual, I knew it'd be all right. But that was the first season in my entire life that I had gone through something, really. Unlike these other two young men, I came from a 2-parent home, mother, father, sister, dog, big house, private school, college, got married, 2 kids, boy, girl, dog, big house. I mean, all of the stuff that the American dream is supposed to provide, I lived it. But man, oh man, one day those feet hurt so bad, I fell, and I've fallen several times, but I fell, and that day, everything changed. So you got to have a grounding, got to have the people who love you, you got to be spiritual growth. So I'm on my way back now, bigger and better, and it's no problem. I'm stronger than I ever was before. But, I wasn't going to share that, but I must say to Jesus and to Austin, these young people, golly, you guys are sharp. I was nowhere near that sharp in my 20s. I was not. And it's amazing what you come from. I couldn't have come from that. And you've got to share your stories. You have to. I mean, I'm encouraged listening to it. So thank you for hosting the show. But what a powerful experience this has been for me. And I've grown myself. So thank you, young people. An older person has learned from you young people. So keep it up. Keep it up. Just be careful. Really be careful. Be careful. That's it.
Rosie agrees. She has spoken.
Young ladies as well. My goodness, what they're doing. Oh my goodness. That is amazing. Amazing, UNLV. Go ahead, UNLV. But that is amazing what they're doing. So, I didn't even know these 4 young people out here, but now I know.
Mandy, Marisa jumped off, so she really didn't get to talk too much about her program. Can you just give us a quick little synopsis of what she's doing?
Oh, okay. Yes. Well, it's both of us too. We both went into business together. So what we do is we provide just kind of an opportunity to teach kids positive coping skills through art. We host events for them. I believe our next one we have up in Georgetown, and we're also just working on another event in Chicago, actually a hip hop talent show as well, just to give back to the community and survivors of domestic violence. So we design coloring books as well. Just kind of, we're pretty new. We started about a year ago, and we just love to give back to the community, raise donations, proceeds, and just give back. So very, very, very grateful to just have a platform that can do that.
And that's such an important mission, because people a lot of times have the mindset that, women who are involved in domestic violence, they come from lower incomes and bad families and so on and so forth. And any woman can be a victim of domestic violence. I had never seen that as a young person, and I myself was a victim of domestic violence. Earlier, we saw Rihanna, was a victim of domestic violence. It can happen to anyone.
Yes, and actually some mind-blowing statistics. Actually, men are affected a lot too. So there's 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men. And so I see a lot of people come through the shelter of all different walks of life. And it definitely is just something that needs to be more education in the communities, honestly, about it.
Absolutely. And, men do sometimes get forgotten in that formula. We're supporting the women because, we assume that it's women. But the men need to be included in that on 2 different levels. One, supporting them if they are indeed the victims of domestic violence, but realizing that these men who are involved in the domestic violence, who are the perpetrators of the domestic violence, it isn't just because they just get some thrill off of beating on women. They're broken too, and they're lashing out and expressing their pain and their anguish and their frustration in the wrong ways. So they also need help.
Yes, you are absolutely right. And then you start, once people are in those situations, they start projecting those behaviors onto each other as well too. So definitely, you're absolutely correct.
Right, absolutely. Well, thank you for the work that you're doing, and I've been watching you guys do your thing, and you've got some big projects, and you're doing beautiful work.
Thank you so much. We appreciate the support.
Now I can't see.
That's dope, Mandy. Good job.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, keep it up.
Thank you.
I can't see Ricky, but I'm sure that he is still here, or not.
He is.
But Dr. Bob Lee is here. So Dr. Bob Lee, would you like to have a word?
I think he's on the show already. So.
Oh, okay. I guess he popped back in and then popped back out again. So Ricky, why don't you talk to us, because you're working with a ton of different artists, and you're doing some great things too. So talk to us about what it is that you're doing in the industry.
A little everything. I'm telling you, got something going with Motown now, where we're taking the masters and we're stripping them down and taking the acapellas, for example, an acapella of Rick James, and doing songs with Bruno Mars featuring Rick James, and then we have the computer images to make videos. So Motown is returning back to its roots. Not really signing a whole bunch of new acts, but making new music with old acapella. So Lady Gaga can do a duet with Diana Ross and that kind of thing. And it's a new stream of income for the label. Doing things like that and doing metaverse. You'll see Bruno Mars and Rick James in the metaverse doing a concert and that kind of stuff. So I'm working on some really different stuff. I also manage a guy named Keith Murray, who is a legend, who I'm going to, when we do our mental health thing in May, because May is mental health month, I want to bring him on. He's had some battles with PCP, and it kind of messed up his head. You know what I mean? He's just not the same. And I want to talk about that. So I'm doing just another. I got Hazel E from Love and Hip Hop. I'm working on a record with her. I'm booking shows. I'm producing stuff. I mean, like I said, my phone rings and it's always something. It's Snoop. Snoop from children's books now. Well, actually, that's something that I'm hooking up right now.
Doggyland.
Yeah, and there's another company that just approached me that wants to work with him. I don't know if he'll do it because he does have Doggyland, but we'll see. But like I said, every day it's something new, and I really need help, honestly, because you can't really, like Kwame was saying, it takes a team, and you can't do things well by yourself, and that's what I'm facing. I mean, I can't really get to everything because there's so many things coming my way, and but I love it. I've done it all my life. I grew up in the business. I grew up around Mo Austin and Clive Davis and Dick Griffey and Lonnie Simmons and all these great people. So it's kind of all I know, but I love it. I love what I do. There you go.
Absolutely. And I'm just, I'm really excited about the things that I see happening in the music, the shifts that are going on, because, again, the world is so troubled right now. And I think that the music is a place where we can begin to heal. And I think that these artists that are now starting to come together and bolster and strengthen each other and, reaching across genres, white artists working with Black artists, working with, Filipino artists, working with, different types of music, hip hop, working with country and rap, and everybody supporting each other. I think that we are going to come together through the music and through the leadership of the artists. And I think that people are taking artists a lot more seriously now, because, before, if you were in the entertainment world in any kind of sense, well, you didn't have a brain, you were just an entertainer. But now artists are speaking out, and they're seeing the intelligence and the wisdom and the forward thinking that these artists are doing, and their world views. And I really think it's going to make a huge difference.
Well, before Doctor, we had gatekeepers. You could only, if you didn't have a ton of money, you weren't going to get there. And if the indie wasn't going to play the record, and now the power is in the artist, the independent artist. Now it doesn't cost a lot of money to get your music up there, and if they they work social media correctly, they can make some stuff happen. And that's why you see all this music that's popping, that's new and innovative, because it no longer has to be this formula, rhythmic, hip hop, country. Now you can have this merging of cultures, and if it comes out and it starts streaming, it can pop. And that's because it's the power right now is in the independent artist, which is an exciting time.
Yes, and indeed. And I mean, as Aussyy was saying, I think there really has been a shifting and a lifting. And as he said, the matrix is imploding. It can't continue to go on the way that it has. And so these young people are really heavily invested in doing something different, because for those of us who are 50 and older, we're on the other side, and we've got more life behind us than we have in front of us. So we're at the point where we are wanting to make a difference. They're at the point where they're needing to make a difference, because they're going to be living in this world for a very long time. And if it doesn't take a turn, it's headed in an ugly direction. So I think that great things come out of need, and desires come together to meet those needs. And so I really am excited and looking forward to the things that are going to come out of these collaborations. And I do hope that all of you will reach out to each other and see how you can work together on projects and support each other. And
I think we need a We Are the World
more of
rap
these
song.
conversations. We need to what?
We need a We Are the World rap song.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I'm putting you in charge of getting that going. So you spoke it, so let's make it happen. So
yeah, and anybody in here who wants to connect with me, I'm able for connection. So
okay,
I already followed you, and I'm already connected.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So we can stay. By the way, everybody here, I mean, we should all connect and just push and help and support, and that's what it is. I mean, it's all about, as you said, Doctor, it's knowledge, and we have to spread the knowledge. And I love what you said, Doc, where those of us who have the 50 mark, and and you're heading out, it's more about the legacy. It's more about putting and helping and guiding and just being there and sharing some of the values that we've learned and in our lives. And for the youth, you guys are the future and the wave that's coming next, and we're here to support. So whatever we can do to make it happen, we will.
And it's exciting to me to hear the positivity that's coming out of you all, and to hear the wisdom, that you're paying attention to the world around you and wanting to make a difference and wanting to live inside of purpose. So I'm really thrilled to be having these conversations with you, and feel very blessed to have you sharing them on our show. And we hope to have you all back again. So we're at the top of the third hour, so this will probably be a 3-part show.
About 2 parts, maybe 1. We'll see. It flew. The flow is right, so it's all good.
Yes. So I heard somebody trying to say something there.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. So I guess with that, if each of you can throw out just one message you want our audience to take away, keep it short so that they remember it. One takeaway message. We'll start with you, Mandy.
Oh, Mandy, sorry.
Oh, okay. Never give up.
Love it. Love it. Never give up. Grand Master Dee, what you got?
Keep unity in the community, because without unity, we won't have a community.
I like it. Yeah. I like it. I'm going to use that one. I like it. Gary Bernstein.
Follow the light. You follow the light, you'll go to where you're supposed to go.
You guys are good. I really like this. You guys are really good. And iPhone, help me out here. Give me your name again. I want to stop calling you iPhone. You're muted.
Oh, that mute button is hard. My name is Mark. Thank you for keep bringing me in on this. And I'm going to do what Gary did. He said, follow the light. I'm going to say, be the light.
Be the light. That's one of my favorite ones. Be the light. And I think that Dr. Lee is with us. I can't tell if he's actually on the radio or because it looks like he's with us. So Dr. Lee, if you're with us, just unmute and give us your, there he is. See?
Oh, there he is.
So what have you got for us? If there's one takeaway for our audience, what would that be for you?
What you are is God's gift to you. What you make of yourself is your gift to God. So choose your choice and let your choice control the chooser. And remember, whether you say you can or you can't, either way, you are right. So say you can and you will.
That's good.
There you go.
That's good.
That's really good.
Oh,
that
man.
is
All right.
really good. Hurricane.
Oh, that's going to be a tough comeback after that.
Yeah. I hate to follow him.
Oh my God. It's like, what am I going to say? Just, you got to do it. You got to be in it. You got to make it happen, period and out. And that's it.
Okay. Excellent. And one of the taglines for our show, you are your greatest asset. Invest in yourself. And the other thing is, be the light bearer. You bring it.
One thing I would like to say is, through the darkest night, no matter how dark it is, the sun will be risen. I actually made a song about this. No matter how dark it is, there's always light at the end of the tunnel. So.
Yep.
Okay, yes. And, for those of you who have songs, because several of you have mentioned, the songs and these messages of positivity, if you don't mind sharing those songs with us, Hurricane will eventually get this sound system together so that we can get these songs on the air. And, we'd love to support you and, get those songs out there, share them and, share that positivity.
That's awesome. Well, good night. I'm gonna chime off. Good night. Thank you.
All right. Good night. Thanks for being with us.
Good night.
Good night, everyone. And you all have been listening to Chatters That Matters. Let's talk about it. I am your show host, Dr. Cheryl Bryant Bruce, MD, the Celebrity Doc, with my co-host, Hisham Elamanti, Hurricane H. So please make sure you come back and join us again next week. The guests just get more and more exciting. The conversations get deeper and deeper. We look forward to seeing you next week. Like us, tag us, share us.
God bless. Chatterthatmatter.com.